Everybody, Earl at thelogbook.com, back for more Infinite Sheep. Just when you thought the sheep had all been herded, oh no, my friends, there are more. I actually took a little bit of time to recently go through some stuff still waiting to be digitized that was still living on tape, and I found some goodies. Like, I found an entire archive master tape from the Fox 46 days that I had yet to digitize. It has now been preserved for good or ill. That's really the question. Another thing that has been sitting in the archives for quite a while is a 15-minute presentation piece that I remember we prepared for. And this would have been sometime in, I want to say late 96 or early 97. And I'm erring on the side of 96. We had a tour group coming through, and the station management thought, this is kind of sad, really. They thought we should have a presentation on tape ready to show people like these, for the simple reason that everyone at the station was doing like 5 jobs. So we would all be stretched so thin, no one would actually be able to lead a tour. So here, just watch this tape. Very personal touch there. But anyway, I got everyone back into the production area in front of the blue wall to describe their jobs, introduce themselves, describe their jobs, shot some B-roll. It was a lot of production. Now, here's the funny thing. It was a lot of production for something that got used once. And then I think everyone realized, okay, this is not the personal touch we need to be showing. People bothering to visit the station, maybe. So a great many of my colleagues were in this. Now, my personal rule about showing stuff here is this. If it hit air, then it's fair game. I will show it to you. Stuff that was more internal use or was not ever meant for broadcast, like I am never going to show you the massive blooper reels I assembled at every station I worked at, because those were for us. And also, they are some of the sweariest things ever committed to video, for good reason. But stuff that was not broadcast, a little more iffy on showing that to you. So I've taken the odd step of, one of the things in this presentation was that I put myself in front of the blue wall and described my job. And there's quite a bit of B-roll on that because, what was easier to shoot than my job happening? So here is an interesting little time capsule. It's not the whole 15-minute piece. I'm just showing you my part of it because that way I don't have to try to track down 8 other people to get their permission. But here is me from 30 years ago. You have been warned.
'Cause everyone's invited to watch Fox 46 tonight. Yeah, I have a super season. Gonna watch Fox 46 tonight.
Hi, I'm Earl Green. I'm the production director here at Ferris Broadcasting. My function here is to determine the look and the feel and the sound of the commercials and the original promos that we put on the air. I have direct control over this at just about every stage. I design the graphics, I designed the 3D animation, which is really one of my favorite things about the job. And to some extent, I choose the music and do a lot of the voice work. In fact, I hear more of myself than I'd actually like to on the air. But it's a great job if you have a creative urge, because you have to be able to produce something every day. And you can get as wild and as wacky as you like, and the worst thing that they can say to you is, no, we don't like that, and you can save it for someone else. So if you're about as crazy as I am, this is probably the sort of job you would like.
Okay. Good. There's evidence on video that the Kiki Stockhammer fairy godmother wife was a thing on the video toaster. I'm so glad. Otherwise, I don't think people would believe me if I tried to explain, oh yeah, there was a preset transition on Video Toaster where this lady dressed as the fairy godmother walks out with her magic wand and boom, dip to white, and you're on the next video source. And that actually got used for something. Now, the interesting thing about that is that there is some video shown of a commercial that I was working on at the time. Fun fact, a version of that commercial, I'm not sure if it's the final. I have questions about this because it's more than 30 seconds long and it just seems to end without giving any information about the business in question. So I really am convinced that what I found of this spot was an unfinished draft. Like this was a work in progress. But the thing that you saw there was a spot for a business called Alpha Omega Software. And I distinctly remember this because it was not a shoot. It was gathering footage from their computer, which they had a fairly high-end computer. Man, it played Wing Commander. But we had to get a VGA to NTSC scan converter. And what I did, instead of taking a camera to this place and shooting footage, was I took a garden variety VCR from the station, a VHS VCR, and this scan converter to this store, hooked all this up to their computer, and recorded footage on VHS for use in a broadcast spot. Because, hey, we were Fox 46. Why wouldn't you do that? At that point, I think we were actually using SVHS for on-air playback. No joke. That was a thing. If you're going to get away from 3/4-inch U-matic, by all means, SVHS is how you need to do it. Don't know how that decision was made, but it was a thing. Anyway, the Alpha Omega spot has no voiceover, and it just kind of goes and goes and goes. So I am not convinced that this is the finished spot. That's it. We're not going to tell you where Alpha Omega Software is, or how to get there, or how to call them. We're not going to tell you what their hours are. I don't think that was finished. I think that was a work in progress that was, it was the last thing on that tape that I digitized. So I really have no idea What the actual broadcast spot, I don't remember how it ended. There had to be a voiceover in there because as much as I liked the idea of occasionally doing something that it's just a sound mix. It's just music in a sound mix and it speaks for itself. They hated that. They hated that. They wanted a voice on everything. And like 1996 me said in that video, there was like a 75% chance it was going to be my voice because I was the production department at that stage. It was me, myself, and I, which that was a recipe for exhaustion. The Alpha Omega, the 3D animation that was done in Lightwave on the toaster, it was actually not terrible animation. I would do it very differently now. I would make it a lot shorter. I don't think we need to be in the Wish app Doctor Who tunnel for as long as the spot insists on staying there. I wonder if that work in progress or whatever that was something that got... We had one VTR that would do variable speed. I wonder if that got sped up to be turned into a 30-second spot. I don't remember, and it's driving me crazy, but it's kind of interesting to have something of that spot, but also footage of it being made. That's definitely a rarity, and so that's why these two things are being covered together here. So there you go, the Alpha Omega software spot and the making of it. I remember the client being very happy with the spot. All that 3D animation was just like, whoa, high tech. You have to keep in mind, at the time, there were no other stations in the Fort Smith market bothering to do 3D animation. Probably because in their minds, it was something that would have to be farmed out of town, out of state, at least to somebody in Little Rock, but probably someone much further afield. They didn't have someone with a lot of time on their hands learning to do Lightwave on a video toaster in the back, which is how you wound up with me doing that stuff at Fox.